When Tecno released the Tecno Spark 5, a lot of people questioned whether it's truly worth the upgrade from the Tecno Spark 4 and what the real differences were between these two devices. Well, in this video, I'll be sharing with you the similarities and differences between the Tecno Spark 4 and the Tecno Spark 5. Also, I'll be giving my bit on whether you should upgrade if you're coming from the Tecno Spark 4 or not. So, without talking so much, let's jump right into it. So to start, we're going to take a look at the general hardware and design of both devices. At the back, both have gradient finishes and they both have the fingerprint sensor located at the back, but you'd notice that their camera cutouts look very different. So at the back of the Tecno Spark 4, we have 3 cameras and a flash, whilst at the back of the Tecno Spark 5 we have 4 cameras and a flash as well. So with the Tecno Spark 4 we have a 13 megapixel main camera shooter, then we have a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and finally a KWGT low light sensor. On the Tecno Spark 5 on the other hand, we have a 13 megapixel main shooter, a 2 megapixel macro lens, a 2 megapixel depth sensor lens, and then finally a KWGT lens as well. So as you can see, the only difference is that with the Tecno Spark 5 you have the macro lens, whilst with the Tecno Spark 4 you don't get that. So at the back, that is the main difference. Moving on to the right side on both devices, you'd see the button placement. We have very similar button placement here. However, with the Tecno Spark 5, you'd see that the power button has red accents, so it kind of makes it easy to distinguish between the volume rockers and the power button. Whereas with the Tecno Spark 4, both volume rockers and the power button have the same color. So that is the difference on the side. Moving on to the bottom of both devices, you'd find a similar setup as well. We have a 3.5mm port, a microphone, a micro USB port, and a speaker grill. Moving on to the front, we have subtle differences between the displays on both devices. With the Tecno Spark 4, we have a display size of 6.52 inches, and with the Tecno Spark 5, we have a 6.6 inch display as well. Now, both devices are 720p plus displays, and I must say they really look good. Surprisingly, for a 720p display, I feel it's pretty impressive, and I must commend Tecno on that. Now, aside the difference in display sizes, we also have different camera setups on the front of both devices. So on the Tecno Spark 4, we have a dot notch display. You have the camera cutout right in the center and at the top. And with the Tecno Spark 5, we have a dot end display with the camera cutout on the left side. And honestly, I personally prefer the camera cutout on the Tecno Spark 5 because it makes it look modern and very premium. Whereas in the Tecno Spark 4, it's not bad either, but it looks more of something that was, trending in 2019. So I pretty much feel that the Tecno Spark 5 has a more modern, look at the front as compared to the Tecno Spark 4. It should, however, be noted that both front cameras have 8 megapixels as well. On the inside, we have the Tecno Spark 4 running Android 9.0, whereas the Tecno Spark 5 running Android 10. Honestly, I must say I love that the Tecno Spark 5 is running Android 10 because it comes with a lot of features. We have system-wide dark mode. Aside that, it's pretty fast. The gestures and the user interface feels a little bit fluid as compared to Android 9.0 on the Tecno Spark 4. Processor-wise, both devices have the MediaTek MT6761 Helio A22 CPU, and both are clocked at 2.0 GHz and they are quad-core chipsets. I'd wanted to benchmark both devices using Geekbench, but unfortunately I couldn't find it on the Play Store. But I did find Chainfire's CF Bench, which is also equally good, and I benchmarked both devices to see which is going to come up on top of the other. So here are the results. With the Tecno Spark 4, we had an overall score of 24,574, whereas with the Tecno Spark 5, we had an overall score of 50,557. So as you can see from CF Bench, the Tecno Spark 5 is about 50% better than the Tecno Spark 4. Now, it's kind of surprising because most people thought that because both devices have the same chipset, they'll probably have the same performance. I was one of those people, honestly, but it's surprising that I saw these results when I benchmarked both. In the battery department, the Tecno Spark 4 has a 4000 milliamp hour battery, which in my opinion is great considering that this has a 720p display, but Tecno decided to take it up a notch with the Tecno Spark 5. So we have the Tecno Spark 5 having 5000 milliamp hour battery. Now, this is also a 720p display, and in my usage, I must say the battery has been great. It's not died down on me yet, and I really love the battery life on the Tecno Spark 5. When it comes to storage, both devices have 32 gigs of internal storage and 2 gigs of RAM, and they do have an external slot if you want to expand the storage. I'm not a fan of 2 gigs. I feel after a short while you're going to suffer when it comes to running multiple apps, and I mean already I'm facing that, but you're going to hear more of that in my 1 month review with the Tecno Spark 5. The Tecno Spark 4 on Jumia sells for around 609 Ghana cedi, whereas the Tecno Spark 5 sells for 719 Ghana cedis. So one will ask, is this worth the upgrade? Should you upgrade? I would clearly say no. If you're coming from the Tecno Spark 4, I would recommend that if you're coming from the Tecno Spark 4, it will just be nice to upgrade to the Tecno Camon 15, since that has double the storage and double the RAM. It's just going to make sense to upgrade from that. However, if you're now entering the smartphone market in 2020 and you just want a reliable phone, something with the latest software, I'd recommend you rather go for the Tecno Spark 5 rather than the Tecno Spark 4. With Tecno, they barely upgrade their smartphone software, so if you buy the Tecno Spark 4, you are definitely going to be stuck with Android 9.0. However, if you do go for the Tecno Spark 5, you're going to enjoy Android 10 and also some updates as well. In conclusion, we see that the Tecno Spark 5 is slightly better than the Tecno Spark 4. With the Tecno Spark 5, you have an extra camera sensor being the macro sensor, then you have an extra 1000 milliamp hour of battery, and finally you have Android 10. So thanks for sticking to the end. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like and leave a comment down in the comment section. I go by the name Soji Gray, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.